Hi everyone out there in the world. This is your girl, Black American Indian. And this video, this is kind of a spinoff from one of my Facebook friends. She posted a question. And apparently there is a study, and I don't know how accurate the study is, but it's based on OkCupid. It's this dating site. And yeah, apparently this site, it's called How Your Race Affects the Messages You Get. Again, this is a dating site. And I'll leave the link below, okay? So you can check it out for yourself. Again, I don't know how accurate it is, but to me it seemed like it's pretty on point. But yeah, so anyway, I pretty much left a message for her, and I said, just finish reading that article called How Your Race Affects the Messages You Get. I am a product of the Native American and Black connection. Now I see why. And again, if you go to the website and you check out how many responses on average percentage-wise do Black women get from different races. So if she posts her profile with her picture or whatever, what type of man, as far as race, what type of man actually sends her a message first. It's a little depressing to say the least compared to the other races. But again, this is a dating site, and I'm not sure if this has anything to do with marriages and how long that they last. But as far as marriage, in my Facebook friend's thread, she says, so we can't figure out why a marriage between a white man and a Black woman is 50% less likely to end in divorce than white to white combination, especially since marriages between a Black man and white woman are twice as likely to end in divorce than white to white coupling. And the highest divorce rate is Asian man with a white woman. So anyway, again, that was how she started the thread, and this is, you know, when I read the article from that, some other friend of hers posted the article, and I just went to the article, and so I'm spinning off from what she's saying. And then I said, for your information, my husband is Asian and Italian, but looks Latino. I've been approached by white guys, but never gave them a second look, more so because of history and abuse for centuries against the Black and Native American race. My husband found me on Love at AOL 12 years ago. I gave him a chance because he is biracial, and I thought he could relate by being a minority. And that's the God honest truth. I mean, I've been approached by several white guys, and to me, and this is what my mom always said, if they're not going to put a ring on it, then you're wasting your time, because they may want to have sex with you and turn you into a baby's mama, but are they going to marry you? And so I took that to heart, and this one guy on that website, if you look at the website and read all of the comments regarding that article, this one guy, apparently he was Pakistani and Indian mixed, meaning East Indian, and he made a comment. He seemed like a very male chauvinist pig, as some people call it, you know, a jerk. But he was just saying like which type of women he decided to sleep with, who was the easiest to sleep with, and apparently he hung out at Hispanic clubs because he'll get booty quicker than any other club, blah, blah, blah. I mean, he was just out for poo-poo or punani, as some people say. But yeah, so I'm like, okay, let's talk more about marriage than just getting a hookup. And there's a lot of hookups going on. Some people want to try different type of women. Deep down, they actually want to be with certain women, but they don't have the balls to marry them because of what society says. Especially if they're close with their family and friends and they think negatively about a type of woman that he actually deeply wants to be with. So kudos to all those guys who actually married a woman who, again, society says is undesirable. Apparently, black women on the list, they were less likely to get a first reply or initial reply from any of the guys compared to the other women. You have the Asian women, the white women, the Native American, the Pacific Islanders, the Middle Eastern, the Indian from India, other, which I'm assuming that's mixed people. And I think I said Hispanic. So those are the categories as far as race. Yeah, she was less likely to be initially contacted. Again, this is based on this website called OkCupid dating site, which is 80-something% white anyway. So some people at the very bottom of the article was like, okay, well, if you look at it like, okay, majority of people in this country are white. So what do? Do you try to look for someone to be a partner, a spouse or whatever in a predominantly white, region? Or do you move to the region where people like you that looks like you are more acceptive of interracial coupling is possible? So yeah, I get that too. So anyway, again, it's like I read the article. I read most of the comments at the bottom. Most people keep it real when they comment, versus the actual article. But I mean, it makes sense. So it's like, and actually, I'm gonna go to the article right now. And let me see if I can find it. She has a ton of comments on her Facebook thread. I mean, it really got a lot of people thinking. Some people's like, well, it really is based on what do you want in life? Like, a lot of white men are preferred across all the races that are listed in this article because they have social power and they have resources and money. Okay? So you have more to pick from at the end of the day. That's why white men are preferred more than the other races. And apparently, let me just go down to the bottom here. In a nutshell, what it says. The takeaway. Okay. Sorry about the delay. Let's see. Unfortunately, it says black women write back most, meaning, okay, if someone decides to initially comment or, show interest in a black woman, she's the first one to jump. Like, oh my God, someone actually wants to talk to me. Oh my goodness. So desperate. Let's just put it that way. Whether it's due to talkativeness, loneliness, or a sense of plain decency, black women are by far the most likely to respond to a first contact attempt. In many cases, their response rate is 1.5 times the average, and overall, black women reply about a quarter more often than other women. Now, I'm thinking back to the times where I was dating or trying to date, and I remember I had an account with Black&IndigenousAmerican, and I think it's still alive, but this was when it was booming and popping. This was before Facebook and all of that. And I used to meet guys just virtually. I didn't really meet them in person, just a handful. But yeah, so whenever I would get a PM, which means private message, this pretty much like instant messenger that will pop up on my screen, I would get all excited and I'm like, someone finally, And I don't know if it's maybe it was loneliness, but most of the guys that popped up and sent me a message or whatever, it's because they want to get laid. I'm not that type of gal. So there's a lot of women out there that's into having sex with no commitment, no attachment, anything like that. That's not my character. The next takeaway says white men get more responses. Whatever it is, white males just get more replies from almost every group. We were careful to pre-select our data pool so that physical attractiveness, as measured by our site picture rating utility, was roughly even across all the race gender slices. For guys, we did likewise with height. Okay, the next point says white women prefer white men to the exclusion of everyone else, which I get it. I mean, you want to be with someone who looks like you, come from similar backgrounds, and again, he is probably more socially acceptable to, society in general, not just your family and friends. And Asian and Hispanic women prefer them even more exclusively. So Asian women and Hispanic women want them some white men, point blank. And yeah, again, my husband is half Asian. I've heard the stories, and yeah, there's a lot of Asian women going after white men, or vice versa, white men going after Asian women, more than Asian men going after white women. And it's because of society and status and money. And again, this is a stereotype, but it also depends on what community throughout Asia you're talking about. But very materialistic. Yeah. Like my husband's second or third cousin. Yeah. Let's just say we don't associate with her because she is very, 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 very materialistic. And she hangs out with all the other egotistic folks, and is all about money, and credit card bills are up the yin yang. Let's just put it that way. Again, from this point here, it says, these three types of women only respond well to white men. Wow. Wow. That says a lot. More significantly, these groups' reply rates to non-whites is terrible. Asian women write back non-white males at 21.9%, Hispanic women at 22.9%, and white women at 23%. It's here where things get interesting, for white women in particular. If you look at the match by race table before this one, you should look like one. You see that white women have an above average compatibility with almost every group, right? Yet they only reply well to guys who look like them. There's more data on this towards the end of the post. And again, my conclusion with that is, she doesn't want a hard life, okay? If this guy is acceptable to society, has money, even if he doesn't even have money and power, whatever, at least no one looks at him twice. And I'm talking about a white man. So that's less struggling for her and her children. The next point I got here says, men don't write black women back. Or rather, they write them back far less often than they should. Black women reply the most, yet get by far the fewest replies. Essentially, every race, including other blacks, singles them out for the cold shoulder. This is not a surprise to a lot of people within the black community. I mean, if you look at powerful, influential, wealthy black people, and I'm specifically focusing on celebrities because we see them. We see their power, right? Who are they with? Who are they with? Who is on their right and their left? Okay? Who is in any type of video or whatever? Who has the ring when it's all said and done? Who is marriage material? Or who they think is marriage material? Who has the ring? Okay? Think about that. And we talking about Black Americans. I'm not talking about Black or, people from other countries who have the African identity or, descent from Africans. I ain't talking about them. I'm talking about Black American people. Some of the most powerful Black people in the world. Some of the most influential Black people in the world. Who are they with? Okay? They need to take a lesson from Obama. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, so if you go to the website, and again, I'll post the link for you. Yeah, it makes sense. Again, this is data from one dating site. It's not across the board. But yeah. And then some people's like, well, it depends on the demographics, like I mentioned before. I wanted someone who was compatible. I wanted someone who I thought was attractive. I always thought that Black mixed men and Latinos were very desirable as far as attractiveness. As long as there was some black in there, mixed up in there, yeah, that to me turned me on as far as attractiveness. Never looked at an Asian guy twice. Never really looked, well, let me take that back as far as white men. When I was coming up, like middle school, high school, I had like my little crushes, but I never wanted to go any further with a crush. I just denied it. But again, because of history, that particular race did a lot of damage to a lot of Black and Native American people. And not just Native American Black people, but in general, So I'm like, I really don't want to be with someone who race, not necessarily the ethnic group, because, I never read anywhere that, certain white ethnic groups, abuse Black people or Native Americans. It's not all of them did, but I'm talking about the race in general. I didn't want to go there. And so I decided to not give them a chance. And maybe it's just me being prejudiced, and it's probably what it is, but it's my preference. And then some people in this blog at the very bottom, when they left their messages, this one lady was like, I'm a white woman and I choose to be with my own race. I choose to be with white men. I'm more attracted to white men. That's my preference. And I'm not going to apologize for it. And I was like, kudos to you, because I feel like this. A Black person should not be with a Black person just because. That person should be with whoever he or she wants to be with. If a Black man wants to be with a non-Black woman or a mixed Black woman, that is his prerogative. That's what he's attracted to. So don't hate on him. What you need to do is find someone who appreciates you, your true beauty, from top of your head to the sole of your feet, okay? That appreciates every inch, every hair strand, every inch of you, where you don't have to change who you are to attract someone who eventually don't want you anyway, because it was all a lie. For instance, someone who gets breast implants. Let's just say breast implants for the sake of this conversation. And then she decides, you know what? It's not working for me anymore. I'm in love. He loves me for me. So I'm going to go ahead and take these breast implants out because they're bothering me, and I may or may not be able to breastfeed my future children because of it. Okay, she's over the vanity aspect of trying to get a man. And then her man's like, I got you because I was attracted to your breasts. among other things. Now you're taking away the breast. So if he gets that upset and wants to not be in a relationship with you, then you know that he was shady and he was not there in the first place for you. So anyway, be true to yourself. And sometimes you have to move. I mean, really, you do. I mean, that's why I understand there's dating sites out there to help people find their true love. Um, and that's how I was able to. That's how my husband was able to find me through an online dating site. And at the time, it was free. And apparently, it said that if you go to some website that there is predominantly white people, guess what? You probably want to be with predominantly a white percentage of guys contacting you if they're interested in you. As far as a serious relationship like marriage, that's different. But if you're talking about just a, hit it and quit it, then you might be on that list. Yeah, so again, I was just reading this article and it just caught my attention because, again, I'm not married to a black man. My husband just happened to find me. He happened to look Latino, which I'm attracted to Latino guys. And I found out, I don't know, maybe the second day of talking to him, what his race was. Now, in my bio, what I preferred, I said everything but a white man. So I was like, you could be biracial, you can be multiracial. Yeah, I think specifically I said mixed 2 or 3 races, non-white. So he just happened to fall, in the category, and it worked out for us. And I know there's this thing where there's this black woman, Asian men type thing going on. And again, I picked my husband because he was the right fit for me, and he just happened to be Asian and Italian mixed. And we definitely do click when it comes to feeling. The point is, he can relate to me because he's a minority, and he was raised around black people. Not the best, I hate to say this, but not the best example of how black people should live and how they should act. So he was in the hood, let's just put it that way, going to hoodish schools. And he experienced the reverse racism. Even his teachers, his coaches, yeah. So he experienced that, and it's surprising that even though he experienced that, you would think he would have animosity towards, let's say, black people in general. And then there's me. I'm from the country, and I think that's what attracted him most to me because of my personality, my character. I wasn't from the inner city. I was going to school at the time, so he saw that I had ambition and that very independent woman characteristic about myself, and that take charge. And so I guess he was attracted to that. And plus his mother, because apparently there are studies where people marry someone who's similar in personality and character to their parents. For instance, my husband's mother, she works hard, or she's retired now, but she worked hard. She worked 2-3 jobs. She was the type of woman who could stand on her own 2 feet without a man, really. I mean, she got married and still married, but she didn't need him. Let's just put it that way. My mother-in-law has paid off the house. She had a condo. She sold that. Just a hard-working woman from Vietnam, okay? And I admire her. And I guess he saw a little of her in me. So I think that's what attracted him to me as well. And yeah, so anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video. But yeah, this statistic result here regarding how your race affects the messages you get was very interesting. And and like I said, I'm like, it has some truth to it. I tell you that. It definitely has some truth to it. And one thing about Black women in influential positions, making a lot of money or whatever, corporate America, I mean, for the most part, they don't have a lot of options when it comes to a mate on that level. Now, if you want to get someone who is not on that level, and you paying the bills and he stay at home, that's your business. I guess if he putting it down in the bedroom, you can switch it up. If that's what you want, just to have a Black man. But again, I've said it before, I'll say it again, get with someone who appreciates you, your natural beauty from the top of your head to the sole of your feet. And it may not be from your same race. It may not be from your same ethnic group. Okay? It just may not be. And my husband just happened to not be Black. He just happened to not be Native American. But yeah, so, oh yeah, back to the whole Native American comment I made, saying that I'm a product of both Black and Native American. Apparently, and I'm just going to throw this on down there, if the woman sent out a initial post to a guy on the site, okay, Black female, if she sends out email first, the one that had a better response as far as race was oh wow, hold on, let me make sure I'm reading this right. Okay, yeah, oh wow, okay, so it said if the Black female sent out a response like, oh, he's cute, I want to see what he's all about, and she sends him a message, apparently 57%. Let me see. Hold on. Get the stupid telemarketer. They're calling me every day at the same time. Okay. So, if a Black female sends out a response initially to a potential mate, it looks like there's a tie between Native American men and other. So I'm assuming other is mixed folks that's not on the category. Because again, it's Asian, Black, Hispanic, Latin, Indian, Middle Eastern, Native American, other, Pacific Islander, and white. So there's a tie again between Native American men and other race category that will respond more frequently to Black women. And least frequently was an Asian man. And so my husband even told me, he was like, yeah, that's real rare that an Asian man will be, trying to have a relationship with a Black woman. He's like, maybe in Korea, maybe in Japan or something like a Japanese person or whatever. But anyway, again, it's hard to lump everybody in one category because there's so many different countries in Asia, just like other places in the world that have a certain race of people. But anyway, so that's the reply rate. Now, if a male sender from any race that's on this category, if a male sends the first initial message to a Black woman, this is, yeah, apparently the one that gets, let me make sure I'm not reading this wrong. Okay, if a certain man from a different race sends a message initially to a black woman, the response from the black woman, the highest response will be a Pacific Islander. So if someone from the Pacific Islands sends this black woman a message, she's gonna jump on it. 39% apparently. Least likely is a black man. You know, that is sad. That is so sad. I mean, it's true. It's the ugly truth. I get it. But a black female is less likely to respond to a black male if the black male sent her a message first. Wow. Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Okay, so yeah, so a Pacific Island man will have a better chance of getting a response than a black man. Okay. So yeah. Now, let's say a black man sent, let's see, a black man sends the initial response. The least likely of a response if a black man sends her something would be an Asian woman. And again, it's rare to see black and Asians together anyway. But it looks like, okay, I think I was reading that wrong. Let me go back. Okay, so if a male sender sends out the initial response, then looks like yeah, it looks like the black woman will actually respond more so. Okay. Yeah. The black woman will respond to that. If the black woman sends out a message, okay. Yeah, that makes sense now. Least likely to respond to her would be an Asian guy, and a Native American man and a other race male will be more likely to respond to her. So Native American men would be more inclined to holler, if you want to say, to a black woman. And if a black man were to holler, the black woman will respond, more likely to respond. The Asian woman is less likely to respond. Next in line to the black woman is a Native American woman. Okay, that's next in line. And then a Pacific Islander will be next if a black man were to respond to her. Yeah, so anyway, check it out. That's all I got to say about it. I've been yipping and yapping about this. But I thought that it was very interesting. And I know that this video is like almost 35 minutes. But I hope you enjoyed. And please leave your comments. Good or bad, ugly, whatever. I just want to know what you all think out there. And just give me your honest opinion. But in a respectful way. Okay, be blessed and have a great day. Bye-bye.